Hi everybody, this is a version of a blue and white control deck with some Arcane Bombardment crammed into it to see just how many spells it does take to drive our opponents nuts in an already very annoying deck type. As you can see, we've got the usual control cards here on the low end, plus a couple of my personal favorite inclusions like Urza's Rebuff to tap some creatures and counter spells. We're doing Runic Shot as a one-mana way to get rid of some early aggressive creatures. And then we've got some of the usual stuff in the rest of the deck with Teferi, the Wandering Emperor, and Sunfall. And we're also running 3 Scattered Thoughts. So normally this is Memory Deluge, a great card selection tool that gets us just what we need at the right time. But the thing about Memory Deluge is it doesn't really work that well under Arcane Bombardment. So this is an attempt at a substitute, and then we can throw some extra spells into the graveyard if we don't happen to need them. So this ended up not being as bad as I first thought. We've also got a sideboard over here because I'm playing one copy of Invasion of Arcavios, a battle that lets us go pretty much anywhere and find an instant or sorcery and put it into our hand. The flip side, we don't really flip it too much, but we're really just here for the tutor effect, and I love a tutorable sideboard. We've got the usual suspects and some removals and things that recycle our deck, and then I included some of my personal favorites as well. We've got Alchemist's Gambit to take an extra turn, and we've got Light Up the Night to be able to just finish a game out of nowhere if we've got a bunch of mana laying around and just need somewhere to point it. So once again, thank you for watching. Let's go see some games with this deck over on the Ranked Standard ladder. All right, let's get into it here. We got some Make Disappear to open the game up with. Hopefully going into the Wandering Emperor, and then we'll try to close it out, hopefully, if we can draw into an Arcane Bombardment. And I see our opponents on mono red here, starting off with a Phoenix Chick. We're going to play this island, leave up the option to make disappear something so we can slow our opponent down just enough. Yeah, let's hit that with a Make Disappear. Felled in some pretty good card advantage, but really just trying to slow the opponent down at this point. All right, land number 3. We'll see what they try to do here. Otherwise, we may need to impulse for a land. We'll see. Squee, that's a good Make Disappear target. Excellent. And we do have the Emperor waiting around later. Even Sunfall to exile Squee should he come back. Let's impulse for this land since we didn't draw one. Good. And now we've got Soul Partition as our option for this turn. 4 mana. Haven't seen opponents play as much Mechanized Warfare, I think, as they used to. Could just be me. Opponent hits us with a Play with Fire for 2. Gonna scry 1 to the bottom. Looks like they're gonna attack with the Chick. That'll bring us to 14. All right, well, end of turn, let's impulse again. 3 lands and a partition. Let's take the Grotto. We could use the Scry. We already have a Soul Partition. Kind of just need to keep playing our lands. All right, we see Sundown Pass. Let's put that away just for a second. We also do need some cards to survive the next few turns here. And there's plenty of lands in this deck. I'm sure we'll draw one when we need it. Opponent's got another Play with Fire for us. Keeps it on the top, though. Phoenix Chick, number 2. All right, goes to attacks. Yeah, let's use the Wandering Emperor on this. Go ahead and exile one of these. Opponent's got plenty of threats that can come back from the grave. But we still have a Sunfall laying around, so might as well force them to play out a little more of their hand if we can. Strangle. Been seeing a lot more of that card. Very good against our Planeswalkers. We're just going to drop our land. Might be able to impulse here for a bombardment to really start turning things around, but we're at 13, not the worst shape in the world. Opponent's got a Squee for us now, exiling their graveyard. And it's going to create a Goblin. Altogether 4 damage, bringing us to 9. We're going to impulse for impulse. The classic impulse for impulse play. And I think we'll take another Wanderer here. Union also would have been good, but we're going to Sunfall for sure this turn. And then Wandering Emperor, kind of a win condition. We could win through creature tokens there. Ooh, Thundering Raiju. Speaking of cards I haven't seen in a while. Nice, chunky, hasty threat for red. Brings us to 5. We're going to main phase this Wanderer just to gain the life. Don't want to have to be in a situation where we're responding to instants as they try to burn us out. Opponent's got Bloodthirsty Adversary, but they've thrown their graveyard away. Opponent pays the mana just for the extra counter. And are they attacking? They are. We're going to flip over this Incubator token. Definitely going to block that. Sunfall putting in some good work here. All right. Well, we're just going to build up the Wanderer for now. Get some more card draw spells in our hand and find our way to some bombardment. Ouch. Opponent's got a Kumano. There's a Teferi. That's some good card draw right there. You know, red decks have a lot of trouble with these spirit tokens, so let's make one of these. And if they can't deal with it right away, let's build it up again just to make sure. If they can't deal with it right away, it's vigilant and it just keeps getting bigger and out of range of their burn. Furnace Rains. So they're going to steal it, and they'll be able to attack with it. We're at 6. That would put us in range of a lightning strike. All right, let's exile it with Soul Partition. Kind of puts us a little behind schedule, but that's fine. Teferi, we draw, so he gets a counter. We're going to make another Spirit.
It's nice to see a familiar face.
And we'll just keep going wide here, prevent them from getting in with any damage. Flips over Kumano, and a Thundering Raiju comes down. Let's Scattered Thoughts in response. Okay, Wanderer the only option. I'm going to take an Evolving Wilds just because we can. Put those 2 lands in the graveyard. So we've got a couple of threats coming over to us right now. I was thinking maybe we could draw into a card draw spell to pump up this Spirit, or maybe something else. Okay, so they're targeting Kumano. I guess we can let that resolve. We've got enough mana for the Wandering Emperor here. So let's do another copy. Keep the fresh one. And we will exile the Raiju. These tokens aren't coming back from the grave anyway, so we're going to double block on the etching. Sure. I suppose we could have reordered that and tried to keep both of our tokens. No, that probably wouldn't have worked anyway. Let's draw here, see what we can find. Fading Hope, great for responding to our opponent's stuff. Let's build up this Samurai. Speaking of vigilant attackers, great way to attack a red opponent. And we'll do Evolving Wilds here just to thin out the deck a little bit. Grabbing a Plains. And yeah, we'll just pass it on back. Opponent's got another Furnace Rains, huh? Okay. Goes to attacks on our face. Let's do Fading Hope here and get the Scry. We see another Sunfall, which we don't need. And the draw of the island. Alright, we're going to make a Samurai. And we're going to make a Spirit with Teferi. Pass it on back here. Opponent with a Swift Spear. That's a little late for that card. Definitely needs something to go with it. There's Invasion of Arcavios. That could find us something. Let's draw here with Teferi. We get Sunder the Gateway. No targets, but can make tokens. Let's keep making this Spirit bigger. Definitely should be out of range of most red stuff right now. And I think we can safely attack with both of these vigilant creatures. Opponent empty-handed, so no worries about combat tricks from the Swift Spear. They just block. blocks the Teferi token. We get them down to 15. All right, so let's go look in here. We've got Invasion of Arcavios. Let's search the sideboard. Huh. Light Up the Night could be good. If opponent doesn't have any blockers for us, we could be able to get in with a big chunk of damage, and we've got a lot of mana laying around. Oh, I think we can do it. Opponent empty-handed, empty board. Just to make sure. We're going to draw a little bit more. Urza's Rebuff. We'll put another counter on somebody. All right, well, that's 10 guaranteed. More than enough now. We're going to attack the opponent's face. And it's the Samurai's turn. There we go. And, yeah, let's do Light Up the Night for just a conservative 5. And who's the burn deck now? Good game. All right. Well, kind of interesting basic land opener here. Couple of Union of the Third Path to hopefully get us off on the right foot. Opponent running some... Is that a Urza's Saga Plains? Didn't know those were available. Interesting. Oh, Invasion of Gobakhan. Okay, it's sort of a white attempt at disruption. They take our Sunfall, leave us with the Wanderer, but they can prepare for it at least. They know what's up. Ah, I see. So we're on some white and black. Looks like our opponent is going to be incubating tokens. Crystal Grotto the draw. Yeah, we've got all of our colors. I think this is safe to do now. We're going to put this extra land on the bottom. Keep up Fading Hope here, but more than likely just a Union of the Third Path. Ooh, opponent's got the Duress. Nothing we can do about that. Takes the Fading Hope. Interesting. Pays the 2. Let's Union now just to speed things up. Runic Shot the draw. Alright, it's going to flip Gobakhan. And Light Shield Array is going to put a counter on each of these creatures. Not too shabby. Got some choices here. We can Runic Shot, try to hit this Exarch, and then go for Union of the Third Path. Okay, I was worried they had some protection there. So we've got another copy of Sunfall that we can actually use to get around the Light Shield Array's secondary ability of making everybody hexproof and indestructible. But then, of course, our opponent has Invasion of Gobakhan, takes the second Sunfall. All right. So still working on just one Phyrexian. Looks like they're going to attack this, flip it over again. So they're really kind of going all in on this one token. I mean, it's not bad. They can sacrifice one of these at any time to protect it from all kinds of removal, including the Wanderer, which is basically our only option until we can get to 7 mana. All right, that Union finds us a Scattered Thoughts. We draw another land off the top. That's good. Just need a little bit of time, and thanks to the Union, we're up at a comfortable 27 now. Opponent sacrifices the Reliquary, draws 2. So one thing we could do is just to get one of those arrays off the board is just try to Wanderer this creature and see if we can get that to work. Gift of Completion, huh? Comes with a free Incubate. Opponent attacks with the 6/6. We can take it. We're at a comfy life total. And if we can actually get up to Sunfall mana, then the arrays might not even matter anymore. So let's Scattered Thoughts here, draw some cards. 3 lands and an Impulse. We'll take the Impulse. And we'll take this island. Why not? And let's see, play Mountain. We've got mana enough for Wandering Emperor and Impulse. They know about this Wandering Emperor. I mean, who knows? They could be trying to bait us into casting our Wandering Emperor. Yeah, let's go for it now. Rather not take 11 damage. Let's see, they can sacrifice one of these, and then if we draw the land, well, we've got the land, we can Sunfall. So let's just make a chump blocker. If we really want to save life, that's going to work a little better. And again, if we can take care of this board, they might just have some light shield arrays with no creatures. Maybe that's better. I don't know. All right. Well, we know we're going to Sunfall. We've got the land already. Let's Impulse and see what we're going to do after that. I think Scattered Thoughts is going to find us the next thing to do. There's a Union. Land number 7. Let's go Sunfall. All right, 2 creatures exiled. We're going to make 1 more with this Emperor. Pass it on back. Opponent hanging on to 4 things over there. Here's a Skrelv. Must have been a recent draw. And passes it on back. We see Impulse here. Let's Impulse. Bombardment. Yes. We got it. All right, that will give us some good value going forward, recycling all these old spells. Oh, probably should have put this counter on the creature before combat there. Whoops.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Hopefully that won't make the difference. Another Progenitor Exarch for our opponent. Incubates 2 times 3. Light shield array goes off, but nobody attacked, so nothing doing there. Let's see. I'd rather use this mana on Scattered Thoughts, I think. Sure, we'll take Sunfall and a land. Already have a backup Emperor, and this might let us do some more things. Oh, we might be 1 short. Now we could still Fading Hope, but let's slow it down here a second. Yeah, let's go to attacks. They've got 1 mana open, so they can't incubate. No blocks brings them to 14. Let's make another token. And then Bombardment. And I think from there we just pass. So I was hoping to Union again, but we've got Fading Hope on our opponent's turn to start pulling things up into Arcane Bombardment. Grafted Butcher for the opponent. Okay, Phyrexians get Menace, and opponent scoops it up. Good game. All right. Fading Hope and Scattered Thoughts. I'll take it. Oh, plus Union. This is wonderful. Luckily, our opponent appears to be on the slow game plan, so us not having any removal, not a big disadvantage right now. Yeah, not sure how this hand would have done against mono red, although we do have a Union for them, so nothing like a nice 7 life cushion. Oh, Chrome Host Seed Shark. Let's bounce that guy. Bombardment. Don't need the second one. So this could be another Incubate deck. We're going to play land number 3. Only options at this point are to Impulse or Union. Nice that we had the Fading Hope at least to kind of slow things down. Opponent with the tap land. Doesn't Seed Shark. Let's try for a Union. And they negate it. All right. I mean, maybe they were thinking we would counter their Shark. I don't know. I don't have that many counter spells. All right, well, let's go for Scattered Thoughts then. They're going to continue to keep mana open. They've got a Union. Choices. Let's take a Sunder and make disappear. Runic Shot off the top. Let's go. Let's try for Teferi. Oh, Teferi slides right through, and Let's make a spirit.
Knowledge is meant to be shared.
We can always draw next turn with Teferi and try to get land number 6 for Bombardment, but we got plenty of cheap options to try and deal with this board. Oh, Borrowed Time comes down. That hits Teferi. Okay. All right, well, counter goes on the Spirit token. We do have a Sunder here. We can just Sunder away the Borrowed Time, get our Teferi back. That seems pretty decent. Let's see, we get Incubator token out of the deal as well. I think we just draw a card here, honestly.
There is much the past continues.
All right, so that pumps up Teferi and the token. So Teferi is safe. We can safely attack now through the shark. Well, it was safe before, but effectively attack through the shark. We've got our land set up for Bombardment. And we've got 4 mana open here for both Impulse and Make Disappear if we want to. All right, opponent attacking Teferi. Great. Passing. A little suspicious. Let's flip over our token. Opponent carefully tapping only white mana to do the same thing. Let's go Impulse then. Emperor, Sunder, and Scattered Thoughts. Let's just take a land. So having a 7th land will allow us to Runic Shot on the shark and immediately activate Bombardment if we want to. Oh, okay. Attacked first there. I was sure they had something for this creature. Let's go Bombardment. Oh, they got the counterspell for it. Okay. Just trying to slow roll our 7th land and get a nice activation, but we're going to do it anyway. I mean, I'm assuming their shield's down. Yep. All right, Shark goes down to Runic Shot. What do we do then? I think then we try to press the advantage a little bit, make a 2nd Teferi token. Sunset Revelry for the opponent. Gets them just life and creatures. All right, we're going to pump up all of our Teferis here. And I think drawing rather than making another one is probably the way to go at this point. Get these tokens out of reach of blockers. And, all right, so I think we're going to send in the 2 Teferis. Okay. All right. I think this might work. So opponent's going to put a bunch of tokens in front of the big one. All right, let's Impulse here. Maybe see if we can get a combat trick out of it. Otawara, that could do something. Otherwise, 2nd Impulse. Yeah, it's not that great. Let's go Otawara. What is happening with these tokens? Why are they jaunty like that? All right, let's return one of these tokens, so that'll keep the big Teferi Spirit alive, but it looks like they've got something for me here. Elsbeth's Smite. Let's counter that. Bounces the token, so we're going to clear them out of tokens. All right. Well, so they did a bit more blocking than I was expecting there. Chromhost Seed Shark passes back. Our Teferis grow ever larger. We're going to continue to draw. Wandering Emperor, that's pretty good. All right. So we could get a little tricky with the invasion here. Let's play this out. Let's go take a look at the sideboard. Yeah, it might be time. We might have to do it. Do we? Yeah, I think we got to go Alchemist's Gambit here. So, like, we're going to attack with everything. Well, except that. That's just going to die. All right, so they block the big one. They take 6. That's going to drop them to 15. Oh, they don't block it. They go to 6. Well, then we're just going to take an extra turn. No counter, untap. Everything grows ever larger. We're going to draw some more. Uh-huh. Okay, opponent must not have anything for us. The Gambit worked. Alrighty. Well, this is a strange hand, but that's kind of my bread and butter. We've got to make disappear to cover some of the early turns. Bombardment to cover the late game. We just need to fill in the middle here. Crystal Grotto the draw. We're just going to play ourselves out like we're a blue and red deck. Opponent showing Rafine's Tower so far, plus a Murex. Usually leans control when you see those things, but you never know these days. Prologue to Phyresis from our opponent, so they're trying to poison us out of the game. Sunder the Gateway. Not sure that's going to have many targets, but since it's modal, we can just choose to make a little grizzly bears. We see a Sundown Pass. I think we're going to keep that. If we want to play Bombardment on time, that's a guaranteed second red source for us. Whereas if we want to use the Crystal Grotto, we got to have one extra on hand to pay for it. Okay. Anything yet, opponent? No, just another prologue. Trying to tempt a few things out there with this little incubator token. Opponent not taking the bait. Will admit I have not seen the Esper version of the Poison deck. So this will be an education for me at the very least. We hit the opponent for 2 with our token, lay our 5th land, and pass it back. They've got an Augury, which is going to proliferate us up to 3 poison counters and let them take a look at the top 3. Not worth make disappearing on that. Not quite sure what their top-end plan is in sort of the Esper version of this deck. Usually it's a lot of smaller spells pieced together. So we could counter this Jace if we sack, or... yeah, let's just do regular make disappear. Okay. They did not pay when they could have. Was trying to like bait out a counterspell or at least tap them out. Let's attack and see if they've got something for this token. They don't. All right, let's pass. We have 2 bombardments. We could always try to slam some, but they have so many cards in hand, and we're at 3 counters. And there's that one poison card. It'll come to me in a second. They've got a Teferi who slows the sunset for us. There is Bring the Ending. So normally it's sort of a mana leakish counterspell that makes you pay more, like a Make Disappear, but once you have 3 poison counters, it's just a flat-out counter. Let's try to... there it is. They had it. So we baited that out with the Wanderer. They've got 1 mana left. I doubt they have a Spell Pierce in hand. Or Spell Snare. The 1 mana one, you know. Okay, great. We got our window for Bombardment. No spells, but it's on the board. Ooh, opponent's got a Void Rend. Takes out our Bombardment. Well, we've got a second copy. We may be at the point where we just kind of have to try to get this one down and hope for the best. Opponent's got a Vraska. That is not good. Turns our creature into a treasure. Well, actually, that might work out for us. So they're tapped out. We get Bombardment down. And I think we just pass to our opponent's turn. So Soul Partition's an instant. We now have 2 mana thanks to the treasure that we got. Opponent draws a little bit. We're up to 4 poison counters. Opponent's going to go looking for a card with Teferi. Plays a tap land. Looks like they're passing it back. All right, let's go Soul Partition on Vraska. Definitely the better planeswalker in this case. Okay, that activates Bombardment, and they do an Augury in response. That's going to push us up to 5 poison counters. All right, they've got 4 cards left in hand. Could be in a bit of a race scenario here. We get Make Disappear, but no targets. No targets for the Make Disappear. All right, we drew a Wanderer. Yeah, we're just gonna pass it here. So Vraska's a bit more expensive. There's a slim chance we could catch them with this Make Disappear that's under there. Opponent's got a Farewell for us. Okay, I think we got a plan. We're gonna go Wanderer. So, okay, great. So now Wanderer gets through, so we can make a creature.
I'm home.
And that will resolve. Great. And now, when we cast Union here, I think we should be able to casualty this Make Disappear. Well, let's just Sunder anyway. We're never going to do that. And then Make Disappear. We can sacrifice the... Oh, we're going to target Farewell. Sacrifice the Samurai. And that gives us the extra 2. And we got there. Good game. All right. Little weird, but a couple of expensive things. But we've got a Sunfall to hopefully transition over to the time when we play Bombardment from our hand. Starting off with a Sundown Pass. Opponent leads off with a blue and black tap land. Let's play this Evolving Wilds. Let's see. What do we get? Let's grab a Plains. We've got a Stormcarved Coast in hand, so that's enough for Bombardment. I think that should do it. Those are some interesting islands from our opponent. Kaido Shizuki. Are we making a ninja? We are. Well, let's Impulse here, just in case we got some removal. We see Bombardment, Union, and Invasion. Let's take Union. We need a little card draw, and we don't really need the other things. Ooh, there's Teferi. That's nice. All right. Well, Teferi's going to give our opponent a nice distraction as we try to get to Bombardment time, but Teferi definitely a thing that needs an answer. All right, opponent gets in with the ninja, brings us to 19. They're going to draw.
Now, what do we have here?
What do you got for us? Is it Shieldred time? No. All right, well then let's draw with Union. Oh, they're going to counter this? Oh, sure. Hopefully they don't have another counter, because we're going to try to follow up with Teferi. Oh, should have waited. I mean, unless they've got an answer for it, but that's pretty big. We get a nice twofer out of Teferi, making a creature here. So even if they can respond to Teferi now, we still manage to make a nice little token. All right, they've got to go for the throat for it. This ninja, not enough to take care of Teferi on its own. Opponent up to 5 mana. There's the Shieldred. So they must have been keeping that Make Disappear up last turn. Or maybe they just drew it. Who knows? Okay, attacks Teferi with the ninja for 1. Draws with Kaido. It's going to trigger Shieldred, gain them some life. Draw triggers happen for us. Teferi gets a little bigger. Well, let's go. I think we can Sunfall here pretty safely. And we're just going to draw now with Teferi, now that Shieldred's gone. There's land number 6 for us. Opponent's got Airtie Resurrected. Okay, so they're going to use that to destroy Teferi. We draw. And opponent filling up the board again, making a little ninja token. 2 mana up. That's a bit of a red flag. Let's play this land. We're going to go for it anyway. If they have the make disappear... Oh, they do not. That is key. That is key for us. I was going to say, even if they had it, we've got the backup copy, and they're kind of low on cards. There's an Invasion of Amonkhet. Mills some spells into the graveyard for us. It's not the worst thing for this deck. We're going to discard this spare mountain. And it looks like they've got enough to flip this over if they want to. Nope, nope, just reducing our life total. That's fine. Draws with Kaido. Kaido putting in some good work here, drawing lots of cards for our opponent. Tenacious Underdog to play. And we get a land. All right, well, let's Runic Shot on Airtie, I think. See what we pick up with Bombardment. Fading Hope. Let's do that on the token. That'll give us a little scry here. And we'll still have the Emperor on deck. So we can put Sunfall away. Emperor can take care of this Underdog. Yep. Put those away. Trying to get into more spells at this point. And might as well play this land. We're not playing with big score in this deck, so we don't really need to hold on to extra lands too much. Okay, opponent goes to combat. Where are we going here? Attacking our face. All right, let's try for the Wandering Emperor. Make disappear. They sacrifice the Underdog, though. That's a good play. You can recycle the Underdog, get rid of this Planeswalker. I mean, Underdog really wants to be in the grave anyway, so it kind of helps him helps him get there ahead of schedule. Liliana of the Veil, the follow-up play. Each player discards a card. Well, that's fine. That's our spare Bombardment, but now that Invoke Despair is gone, most opponents aren't playing the black enchantment removal, so not too worried about having to replace this, although we really need to draw some spells. Luckily, we've got our Incubate token here to put some pressure on some of these Planeswalkers. Question is, who do we go for? I think we got to go for Kaido here. Oh, they had the Grasp anyway. Wouldn't have mattered. We'll play this Evolving Wilds. Try to pull some more basic lands out of the deck and make our draws a little bit better. All right, land for the opponent. Tenacious Underdog. Powers up Liliana, making folks discard, but we both have nothing in hand. A bit of a top deck battle we're in here now. Kaido going to draw our opponent a card. Yeah, they've kind of got the better engine going on here unless we can pull a spell off the top. Oh, and we get a Union. All right, we're just going to pass then. We only have Fading Hope under there, and that could be a good response to this Underdog if we don't pull up anything else. All right, I forgot about Lily making us discard. Let's go ahead and just do this in response. Oh, we get another Union. All right, well, that's at least going to let us pick what we discard, so that's not bad. We get Impulse and Invasion of Arcavios. We could Impulse in response, but I don't think that makes any sense.
Don't overthink things.
So we could discard Invasion and keep a spell. Or, let's see what we got in the sideboard. Do have Light Up the Night. Maybe Alchemist's Gambit. Farewell doesn't hit Planeswalkers. Although we do have a Fateful Absence in there. I'm going to get rid of this Impulse. See what we can do, probably with a Fateful Absence. All right, opponent attacks. They're going to get the draw off of Kaido and the Underdog again. Really got to put a stop to this.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
There's the draw with the Underdog. And we get Sunder the Gateway, which has no targets, but we can kind of just make a Grizzly Bear with it if we need to. So let's go Invasion. Opponent has some kind of response to this. Could just be their sacrificial land that they've got over there. Let's take, there it is, Fateful Absence. But we're going to do Sunder the Gateway now because it's a sorcery, and we can Fateful Absence on our opponent's turn. So that's why we're putting a stop up there. We pick up Urza's Rebuff and Union of the Third Path. Just going to get a free Union out of the deal. So we're at the interesting spot where we kind of need to proactively do stuff, but we also have the chance to respond to our opponent's spells now that we have a counter spell under Bombardment. Opponent's got a Fairy Mastermind that they flash in. All right, so during our opponent's draw, we Fateful Absence Lily before she can go off. Arcane Bombardment will happen. Let's go Union. We'll do Impulse. We will Fading Hope on the Fairy Mastermind. And that'll give us the Scry. Let's put the land on the bottom. All right. Opponent responds to all this by putting the Mastermind back into play. Really wants that draw trigger. Good that they didn't forget. 3 of a kind, the Wandering Emperor, but we're going to take Scattered Thoughts. Land the draw. All right, Fateful Absence resolves against Liliana, giving our opponent a clue token. Well, we're tapped out, but at least we've got a spell for our next turn that should hopefully let us find some more to do here. Opponent with a second Tenacious Underdog. There's the one from the grave. That's pretty much all the damage that has happened to our opponent this game is from their own underdogs. We're just going to let that through. Opponent with a Kaido. They're going to draw.
Now this is a juicy secret.
All right. Underdog goes away. We're going to draw. There's Teferi. That's pretty good for us. All right. Think we can afford to do... I don't know. Can we afford to do both of these? Let's see. We can. The question is, do we have a follow-up play? We might have to just go digging for one with Scattered Thoughts. Let's make a token, and let's go looking with Scattered Thoughts. All right, so this is Bombardment happening. Sunder the Gateway. We're just going to make a token. Impulse. We're going to cast Rebuff and just tap down your creatures. Definitely going to Union. And let's bounce the Fairy. Why not? That'll protect Teferi a little bit, keep it safe. Opponent looks like they have just 1 untapped mana, so they can't replay it before their turn starts. All right. Put a counter on the Spirit token. Finally, Impulse resolving here. Let's take Soul Partition, a nice instant. And then Scattered Thoughts is going to happen. We'll take Fading Hope and make Disappear. Got some tokens on the board. Might be able to put them to good use. And we're going to attack Kaido here with our Incubator token. All right, so we made some room. We're finally able to attack our opponent's stuff down a little bit. But we are back up to 5 cards. Oh, opponent found removal for the Teferi token. Lots of back and forth here. Opponent's got their second underdog is back. All right, attacking Teferi. Let's go Fading Hope on the one that came out of the graveyard. So that way they won't get their card draw. Strange that the best place to put that card is back in our opponent's hand. We're going to cast Impulse off of Bombardment. We'll do that twice. Sunder the Gateway. Let's make another token. Let's go Union to gain us some life. And I think that's probably good for now. Alright, now. Okay, opponent's got Fairy Mastermind, so they're... Does that mean they draw off of this draw, or is it... Too many things happening. Let's see. No, they don't. Okay. Impulse finds us another Scattered Thoughts. Yeah, they must have something in hand. Yeah, we'll take a Sunfall just in case we need like a reset button here. And, yeah, that's Impulse on the top. We'll keep that there. And we'll block the underdog with one of these tokens. Keeping Teferi safe. Opponent replays the underdog that we bounced back to their hand. They can draw with Kaido.
Now, what do we have here?
Man, this is a long game. I wonder how many cards that Kaido has drawn for our opponent. All right, so opponent's got 2 mana up. Let's see here. Could attempt the Sunfall and try to get rid of this underdog. Could just Union and just try to get some more value off of Bombardment. We could just Impulse too and keep the Union for our opponent's turn. Well, before we do anything else, let's make a token with Teferi. Great, got our token. Let's go Impulse. Okay, well, that is a stacked Bombardment. Let's go with Union and the other Union. Let's go Impulse, followed by the other Impulse. We're going to Sunder to make a token. And then Urza's Rebuff. We're going to tap down both of these creatures. Don't need to Fading Hope anything. Alright, get a nice little token there. Opponent really not giving us many targets for this Sunder here. We'll take Soul Partition. Fairy Mastermind flashed in here. I think we're just going to counter that because we can. Plenty of mana. I really don't want flyers threatening Teferi. Another Bombardment and a Wandering Emperor. Let's take the Emperor. Looks like, well, we get another one anyway. Looks like this game might be a little more token focused here. Really got to try to finish this one off. And our final Impulse, let's take another spell in Sunder the Gateway. All right, so we've got 2 creatures able to attack Kaido here. That's great. He's still around. I mean, I suppose we could Soul Partition him, but... All right. I think we can main phase an Emperor then. Let's exile this underdog here. And discard. Let's get rid of 1 Emperor and 1 land. So we've got a couple of instants for our opponent's turn. If they want to try to attack somebody, might be able to... Ouch, Shieldred here. Let's do Soul Partition then on the Mastermind. Because we know we have a couple of card draw spells that I want to use under here. And we also have a counterspell. So let's target Shieldred with the counterspell that was under Bombardment. A lot going on here. We're going to make a token with Sun Gateway. What next? Let's go Union. And do we need to make disappear anything? No, I don't think so. Let's go with that. We're starting to see the bottom of our deck here, and I don't want to draw too many cards. Opponent's got to make disappear for... Oh, was that for our rebuff? Okay, well, we're drawing cards anyway. We're pumping up the spirit. Sunder the Gateway happens. Let's flip over another incubator. And finally, we exile the fairy temporarily, though. Looks like our opponent can easily flash that back in if they want to. Opponent drawn with Kaido. Had to discard, though, because there was no attack. Tenacious Underdog. Alright, so they're attacking. Might as well try to thin out our population of tokens. We're just going to take it. We're at 42. Underdog goes away. They gain a little life with Shieldred. Okay, let's draw. That'll trigger a couple of things. Alright, we've got a lot of creatures on board, and our opponent only has 3 mana up, so they can't flash back in the Mastermind. Let's start off with a Union, triggering Bombardment. Let's go another Union. It really doesn't matter if Shieldred triggers off of these, because each one is going to gain us like 7 life. Let's bounce Shieldred back to the hand, and just in case they can counter that, we're going to tap it as well. Finally, I think we can Sunder and make a token. Ah, an opponent sees it. Yeah, I think we had enough to get through there. Man, good game.